Greetings, YouTube. I love when things become pro player and when you talk about the economy of the game changing and evolving and improving. And there are a lot of signs that the economy is not only evolving, but it's going to include items that we haven't heard about yet, but come maybe even as soon as July 4th. Certainly, when you talk about the second book of the story quest, that the rare, almost like WTF items, they're about to come in the next few months. But until then, before we get to that, greetings, Summoner. Starting immediately, we have expanded your inventory capacity for Rare Catalyst. At level 60, Summoners will be able to hold 16 Tier 4 class Catalyst, 16 Tier 2 Alpha, and 8 Tier 5. We're also giving Summoners that haven't achieved level 60 yet access to more inventory space for Tier 2 Alpha Catalyst earlier. Tier 2 Alpha Catalyst inventory space will expand to 4 times at level 20, 8 times at level 40, and 12 times at level 50. So 16 for Tier 4 class Catalyst and 16 for Tier 2 Alpha. So I'm going to go to my Catalysts and I'm going to show you forever what used to be, and that was 15, because I was doing what I always do. Grind in the arena, trying to restart my hoarding stash since I spent most of it. And this is going to be the old. The old is 15 Tier 4 class Catalysts and also Tier 2 Alpha. But let's talk about something really important, and that is the future of the contest, because I can actually do this for the first time on my channel since I took, in the last 24 hours, Human Torch to rank 3. You can see that Tier 3 Alphas and a combination of Tier 5 Basic, Tier 5 Class, and look at the thing at the top of the list. That looks like one of those things that you used to play with as a kid that maybe you put your hands in, it would kind of expand and contract and expand. It also looks like almost like a jungle gym to me. But that Tier 6 Basic, that along with the Tier 3 Alpha, those are the future of the game. That's going to be what is going to keep the whales, the in-game players, whatever you want to call them, interested in continuing to play this game. So we've seen this before. Tier 1 Alphas and Tier 4 class Catalysts used to be the most expensive economy of the game. Then it was shifted to Tier 2 Alphas and Tier 5 Basic. Now the Tier 5 Basic is going to slowly be shifted to the Tier 6 Basic, and the Tier 2 to the Tier 3, and then of course Tier 5 Class will start to become a little bit more available, but that will still be very, very slow in terms of its development, because you've got to keep in mind, I truly still think that Kabam went way too fast between introducing 6-star champions when we, at that point, hadn't even completed the final ranking up of our 5-star champions. At that point, we hadn't even had 565s, and yet we had heard rumors about 6-star champions, and that actually caused several people, including a truly legendary YouTuber, Mr. Idolist, to retire because they just didn't want to start over. They felt like, I finally built this amazing 5-star roster, and now you're telling me I have to do a 6-star? I'm out. So Kabam doesn't want to make that same mistake, and so in order to find that balance between keeping in-game players wanting to play more, but also not going too fast so that we have 7 stars or some craziness, slowly but surely, Kabam's got to roll out this extremely early. And we have seen in the past, they might say, hey, 15,000 units gets you 2% of a Tier 6 Basic Catalyst and 2% of a Tier 3 Alpha. So if you buy this 15,000 unit offer 50 times, you'll get to take a 6-star to rank 4. And that might sound crazy, and that might sound crazy expensive, but keep in mind the first time that we saw a Tier 5 Basic Catalyst Fragment deal, it was $100 for 4,500. $100 for 10%. So they were already valuing a Tier 5 Basic when it came out. 1 at $1,000, which meant that it was $2,000 to take a 5-star to 565 or $3,000 to take a 6-star just to rank 2. We now compare the $100 for 4,500 Tier 5 Basic Catalyst fragments to the current Glory store for those of you uncollected and above. And it is truly amazing how the economy has shifted in 2020. As we now know, you can get a maximum of 5 of these with your Glory, which is half of a Tier 5 Basic Catalyst for essentially free if you hoard your Glory. And one of these, 900 Glory, used to be a $100 value. Now 900 Glory, I think most anybody can get 900 Glory, even if that's just what you get at the end of your Alliance Quest week. So the economy of the game is once again shifting. You should be at one point excited about these changes because it makes it easier to rank up your 5 stars and even in some cases your 6 stars. But there are going to be people who are shocked when Kabam starts to talk about Tier 3 Alpha Catalysts or Tier 6 Basics. And you heard it here first, and you've heard me say it for months. It is the same history that's repeating itself, just in another new era. So be wary of that, but also embrace the fact that you can take a 5-star to 565 or a 6-star to rank 2 or even rank 3, and that champion is still going to be able to do something crazy awesome, especially at High Sig and Awakened mostly, for things like the Abyss. And I was just thinking this week when I was doing the Abyss, yeah, I'm sure rank 4 6 stars would be amazing, but my 565 Human Torch is still doing an amazing amount of work. My rank 2 Aegon still doing an amazing amount of work. And I'd rather use 30% boosts, which I get 3 of from the $50 early access bundles now, than, invest $10,000 in the newest rank up materials that are just going to be the equivalent of that boost I get for an hour for $50 with 3 thrown in, plus of course everything else. So just something to think about on this Monday night. Thanks for watching YouTube. Have a good one. The economy of the game is shifting, I think mostly for especially middle tier players. That's a good thing. Just don't be surprised when we start hearing about Tier 6 Basic Catalysts and Tier 3 Alpha Catalysts.